think I was muted there. How is it going, guys? Welcome back to another stream on the channel. The crypto market is starting to look very good. Ton of altcoins are up. Bitcoin was hitting 91K today. So, it's a good time to be in crypto again. And it's been a while since I've said words like that because it's been a very brutal market the past few months. But finally, we are starting to see some relief. We're starting to see some form of a relief rally, and it's pretty good. Okay, Bitcoin just below 90K right now, or just below 91. It's at 90.9K. And if we take a look at the chart closely here, Bitcoin not only had a kind of structural breakout from the downward sloping resistance we kind of had. Not only did Bitcoin do that, but it's also attempting the 91K region, which I've been telling you guys about for a while now. 91K was the level which we broke below when we had this massive crash, and it will be the level that we break above when we have the continuation of the bull market. Now, we haven't done that just yet. We're on 91K currently. I would say we probably need like a weekly close or a daily close above 91K for us to truly be resuming the bull run. But you can see just how important of a level this has been for a while. Multiple times support and resistance. I think this chart shows it even better. You can see how many times 91K was support. So many times. Now it is acting as our level of resistance. If we can flip this resistance back into support, I'm going to be very, very bullish on the market. Right now, still hasn't happened yet, but I am hopeful. I am optimistic. The money supply is going up, and it seems like maybe the stock market has reached a point of maximum fear. So I'm going to share with you today the best altcoins I would be stacking in my portfolio. You can see these are my top 6: Sui, Casper, Tau, Ondo, Sei, and Render. And then we have Arrow. Aerodrome would maybe be the 7th pick, but that isn't as kind of high conviction as the 6 outlined there. Okay, those are my highest conviction plays. You guys know, you've been watching the channel a while. Sui, Casper, Tau. I mean, I've been talking about these every single day for a very, very long time. And they're some of the best performing coins today. As Crypto Terrence in the chat says, they are some of the best performing coins today. Absolutely right. You go and look at the market. In the top 100, you've got Tau up 13%. You've got Casper up 11%. And if you look on the week, Tau is actually the biggest gainer in the top 100 on the week, up 44%. Casper is also one of the biggest gainers, up 19%. And then Sui, you go down a bit more, you see Sui up 11%. So I'm not picking my coins randomly here, guys. It's not a coincidence that my 3 highest conviction plays are 3 of the biggest and best performing coins in the market. It's not a coincidence. I haven't just, got a random board and just rolled the dice and let it land on a random coin. That's not what I've done. Okay, I've actually researched every single project in the market, pretty much in the top 100 and beyond, top 200. Most projects I've researched to a decent degree. And I've come about the best projects. And the very best projects are here, in my opinion, of course. Sui, Casper, and Tau have been the clear winners for a while. So it's not a coincidence those are some of the best performing coins today. I expect that to continue. Okay. But yeah, it's great to see. Great to see. Now, just a reminder, the VIP group sale will be going very, very soon. I'm not exactly sure when. If we get a weekly close above 91K, I will probably get rid of the discount because all of the retail investors will suddenly surge to join the group. It always happens. Whenever the market pumps, everyone tries to join the group. So I recommend getting in now before everything goes crazy, okay? Because altcoins will go crazy again at some point. They're already showing some signs that that's going to be now. Now, I was a little bit befuddled about this pump because when you look at the stock market, it's not really going up too much. The only things I can really point to causing this pump are gold going up and then some of that money maybe trickling into Bitcoin as digital gold instead. And maybe the falling dollar, maybe increased global money supply could be another factor. So there is a few things, but overall, it's pretty surprising Bitcoin's managed to get to 91K considering the circumstances. So it really begs the question, where's the money coming from? Because I don't think it's coming from retail. It's probably coming from institutions and smart money because retail are broke right now. So yeah. And because of that, I've given people a discount, right? 35% off. You actually can use this by clicking the link in the description. I think if you just hover over the page for a little while, this pop-up discount should come up. It's not gonna be there for long. I want to be really clear. The group is extremely valuable. So get your money's worth. Anyway, if we look at the total 3 here, we are seeing a breakout as well on the total 3. Now, it's not been definitive here because we do need probably a weekly close to confirm it so that it's not just a scam wick. You can see at times Bitcoin does have wicks that come up, and I don't necessarily count wicks. You can see in the past, we had a big wick all the way up to this level in March, and then we came crashing back down, right? So it needs to be a close on the body of the candle rather than just a massive wick, right? And if the stock market continues up, if the money supply keeps going up, which it looks like it will, I would have the inclination to believe that this would probably be the start of the next run with altcoins and crypto in general. And like I've been saying many times, I think this is very similar to what happened on Bitcoin back in 2021. You had a bull market crash followed by a second leg up. Where did we find support? It was the Gaussian channel. And then we pumped. Where did we find resistance, guys? Where did we find resistance? It was on this massive trend line stemming back from 2017. Now, history doesn't repeat, but it certainly does rhyme, and it looks very, 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 very similar to me. Okay. Just putting it out there. Where did we find support here? The Gaussian channel on the weekly. Where could we maybe find resistance? Maybe this massive resistance line stemming all the way back to 2017. So I am targeting personally a move up on Bitcoin somewhere above 110K. Amazing call on virtuals, Archie. Do you think it can hit its all-time high again? I think it can. I do believe the AI agent narrative will come back around. It's talked about a lot in the mainstream. Now, let me just put my opinions aside. Loads of these AI agent projects in crypto, they are just absolute garbage. They're not doing anything really innovative, and they're basically just glorified scams. But at the end of the day, I'm in crypto to make money, just like the metaverse. I bought Sandbox and Decentraland last bull run. I made a lot of money on them. Did I think they were good? Absolutely not. I thought they're the worst games I've seen in a long time. They were terrible. I mean, who thinks Sandbox and Decentraland are actually good games? Okay, guys, I'm a pretty young guy, right? You guys know I'm 20. When I was like 7 years old, I was playing games better than Sandbox and Decentraland in quality. So I wasn't impressed at all by Sandbox or Decentraland. But what did I do? I bought them and I made a ton of money off them. So while I was in college, while I was in school, I was buying these crappy metaverse coins, making a ton of money. The same thing is the case in AI, right? Most of these AI coins, they're not genuinely that innovative, but they're going to make money based on sentiment and narratives alone. Now, Virtuals is one of the actual decent ones, okay? Virtuals is one of the few decent ones, but my point still stands. You need to understand that crypto is largely driven by sentiment and hype as opposed to purely just fundamentals, okay? It's driven by hype and speculation much more than the stock market is. So, yeah, virtuals, I stacked a little bit of it on the dump. What was the price we got in on virtuals? Let me just take a quick look. 54. So I gave the buy alert out for virtuals at 54 cents. It's gone up nicely. I mean, it's not a great deal, right? Not an amazing pump by any means, but gave the buy alert out at 54 cents. So yeah, we're seeing a nice little pump on virtuals. Nice little pump. Just the beginning though. And yeah, I do think it can go back to all-time highs. You know, if Bitcoin goes back to all-time highs, I think maybe virtuals could as well. But what you need is for the whole AI narrative to come back around. That's what you really need. You need the whole AI narrative to come back around in the mainstream. So you need NVIDIA pumping. You need, you know, loads of talk about AI agents on CNBC. Those are all the things you need. You need it to come back around again and be hot again. Archie, I sold off my memes back in November. Nice. Good job, man. Yeah, I was doing the same. I was selling my memes in November and they all completely capitulated afterwards. So I was very glad as well that I did that. So you should pat yourself on the back for that, bro. Congrats. But do I think I should buy back into memes? Obviously, small allocation. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, great question. So I don't have any exposure to meme coins right now. I used to be maybe 3 to 5% exposed to memes at the highest. And I was gradually reducing my meme coin exposure from November onwards. Now, I am going to make the argument that you can have memes, but I would much rather some of these projects instead of memes. Because there's a lot of quality projects on discounts, okay? The only case for meme coins is when all the quality projects are overvalued, right? When Sui's really high, when Casper's really high, when Ondo's really high, when Say's really high, when Tao's really high, then you buy meme coins because the trade with quality has evaporated, okay? There is no longer an attractive investment with quality. When that's the case, people move to meme coins out of greed. So they look at Sui and they're like, Sui's at $15 billion in market cap. I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to buy a Sui meme coin instead. Okay, or Solana's at this price. I'm not going to buy Solana. I'm going to buy a Solana meme. So it is a greed trade mostly. I'm going to say that the discounts on quality coins right now is far too attractive for me to even consider meme coins. So as long as there's good discounts still on quality, which there is, projects like Virtuals being that low, projects like Aerodrome being that low, as long as these major discounts exist on quality coins, I'm putting meme coins to the side. When all the quality coins have pumped and Aerodrome, you know, is all the way at all-time highs, all the way up here, and when Sui's at $6, $7, and when Tao's at $600, $700, then you maybe consider the meme coin trades as kind of catch-up trades. Because there's always going to be a meme on a discount. Because there's millions of them. But there's not always going to be a quality coin on a discount. So while those discounts exist with the quality coins, I will be taking advantage of those as opposed to buying pure and utter crap. Okay, which is what memes are. And I made a lot of money on memes, and I'm very thankful for them. But I know what they are, okay? They are crap. Yeah, they're called shitcoins for a reason. Is Ondo on the same level as Casper and Sui? I would say it's not quite on the level, but it's close. The thing with Ondo that doesn't put it on the same level as Casper and Sui is it's maybe a bit more niche in what it does. You know, it's not as widespread as a project. It's not as broad as a project. Casper and Sui have all sorts of different potential use cases as layer 1 chains. You know, Sui, you can build gaming projects on it. You can build meme coins on it. You can build storage projects on it. You can build all sorts of things on Sui. Ondo has a specific purpose. Okay, it's got a specified purpose in its white paper. It's specific to a certain sector, which is RWA. So it's great. It's the best project in the RWA category. And I was never telling people to buy Mantra. I was always saying Ondo was better. So it is a great project, but I just think the likes of Sui is much more widespread. It's a bit safer. So not quite on the level, but it's great. Ondo and Sui update, please, sir, and price predictions 2025 for both of them. Thanks. I think both of them are looking good. As for price predictions, I would be potentially looking at some fib retracement levels. And for Ondo, I would be targeting probably like between $4 to $6 on Ondo. If you want to be really conservative, then I'd say like $3. And then as for Sui, I stand by my case on Sui that it's still got a long way to go. The chart looks really good for it. And when this thing starts gathering momentum again, it's going to have a massive breakout. I mean, look at that RSI on Sui on the weekly. It looks like it's about to break out. Looks like it's about to have a massive momentum shift. So Sui, I would be targeting anywhere between $11.50 all the way up to, you know, $17 or so. Casper chart looking juicy as F. 10 BPS early next month too, and then potential partnerships and plans that come with that. Listings, for example, Casper might give us a couple X's in a month time alone. Yeah, some great points there. Casper's looking very, very good indeed. Great catalyst coming for it. 10 BPS crescendo upgrade. That is going to make Casper definitively the best payment solution in crypto. Okay, definitively. I mean, it kind of already is. But when they go to 10 BPS, it's going to be like no argument at all. The best proof of work project. The most scaled proof of work project ever. Cache, how's it going? Yeah, absolutely, guys. Smash the likes on the stream. It really does help out with the channel. It also motivates me to do more live streams. So please do smash the likes. Hey, Archie, are you Crypto Galaxy's son, as they are saying on X? Who says that? No, I'm not. People say all sorts of random stuff, man. I don't know. People say such random stuff, bro. Like, people say the most wrong things ever. You're this guy's son, or you're Australian. People tell me I'm Australian. You know, people say all sorts of random stuff that's not true. But it's funny. It makes me laugh. Yeah, Sandy, it is possible to reach an all-time high and top out without a rate cut. It is possible. You know, what's very interesting is when the Fed starts cutting rates heavily, markets actually crash. So if you go and look at the S&P 500 and then you go and put on the Fed funds rate, which is the interest rate. Let me just do that a little bit differently. So I want everyone to listen up here. This is very key. So when the Fed start cutting rates heavily, markets actually panic. So ideally, the rate cut is like 25 basis points, and maybe it's in like June. And I would expect markets to probably top out fairly close to that. So look at COVID, for example. They dropped rates heavily. We crashed. Obviously, the crash wasn't because of rates. It was because of COVID. But 2008 is the big one here. 2008, they start dropping rates extremely heavily. What happens to the market shortly after? We have the biggest crash ever, right? Another example would be 2000. They start dropping rates very heavily. We enter a bear market for multiple years. Devastation. Okay, so the macroeconomic data on that is pretty guaranteed. It's pretty set in stone that when you get drastic monetary policy changes, especially with rate cuts, you tend to see markets top out. So we've already had 150 basis point. I think if we were to get another 50 basis point next, markets would potentially panic because it kind of shows that the Fed are expecting downward growth, expecting recession, and they are panicking. So hopefully the rate cuts are pretty spread out and they're not all in one go. You know, like what Trump's saying would actually crash the market. Trump is saying that Jerome Powell should just drop the rates right now. I guarantee you, if he dropped the rates right now, it might cause an initial pump, but markets would really react badly to that. They would see panic. They would see fear. They would probably expect some form of financial crisis if that's what they're doing, because it's not a slow and steady approach, right? It's a panic button, and markets don't like that. Plume has been doing well. Nice. Casper outperformed Sui, I reckon. I don't think swapping a big part of Cas was the best move. Chart was always beautiful. I disagree with the chart was always beautiful part. The Casper chart looked horrible a few weeks ago. And this comes from someone who's extremely bullish on Casper, but going from 20 cents to 5 cents is not beautiful, bro. Like, what planet are you on? How is that beautiful? Going from 20 cents to 5 cents? You had $20 million in Casper, you got 5 million. I mean, that's beautiful, man. Amazing. You know, great steady growth. Almost like the gold chart. It's holding up that well. No, that's not beautiful. That's it's horrendous. So don't pull the wool over your eyes. You know, just be grounded, be in reality. We can all love Casper, but to try and say the chart was beautiful is just misleading at best, at worst. Very misleading. It was not beautiful. The Casper chart was beautiful at one point, but that was a long time ago. It broke down below all of the support levels, broke down below the power law, and it completely invalidated the structure. So now it's looking good now. You know, it's coming back. But to say that the chart was always beautiful is just untrue. Archie, in your opinion, is it logical to think that the altcoins which pump the hardest during these short-term recoveries are the coins that will pump the hardest during alt season as well? Yes, that's very logical. And guess which coins are the ones pumping hard right now? Casper, Sui, Tau. Casper, Sui, Tau. You almost want it in your head, like as you're sleeping. Casper, Sui, Tau. Casper, Sui, Tau. You almost want to just have it in your head all the time. You know, when you're sleeping, you're just sleep talking Casper, Sui, Tau, because they are the three best projects. And every time we get a recovery of the market, they always bounce very nicely. I mean, you compare it to loads of other coins right now, loads of other coins are only up 2 or 3%. You know, Injective 2%, Graph 3%, Quant barely even up, Jasmy 3%, Sandbox 3%, Gala 1%, Casper, Sui, Tau, I think they're all up over 10% today. So we've got the best projects, and I've been the first person to like basically go all in on these three. I'm seeing, quite interestingly, a lot of other YouTubers now talk about those three as like their top three. I've been talking about this for years. You can go back on the channel a long time ago. These three were the kind of high conviction plays of mine. Now, it's good to see other people talking about them. Don't get me wrong. Very glad. The more people that talk about them, the better, because they're the best projects. So they're doing their audience a favor. IMX and ARB will hit all-time highs again. Yeah, possibly. If gaming runs, IMX will, and if Ethereum runs, then Arbitrum will. But I'm really not bullish on Ethereum, like fundamentally. I'm sure it'll have a run at some point. I'm sure it'll get to like 4 or 6K. There's a 786 fib level at 4K, followed by 3 rejections. So it would be like a quadruple top if it hit that. And then maybe it does a double top. Maybe it does a slight marginal high, like Monero did. You know, I'm just not massively bullish on Ethereum. I think its time has kind of come. You know, and just the whole layer 2 thing and all of that, it's just a massive farce. People don't want to be using layer 2s. They just want the base network to be good itself, you know, the main layer to be good. So I think Ethereum will run. I think it will have a good move, but I'm not massively exposed to the Ethereum ecosystem currently. In fact, I was looking at it, about 90% of my portfolio has no form of connection to Ethereum. Casper, it's its own layer 1, no connection to ETH. Bitcoin, it's its own layer 1, no connection to ETH. Sui, same thing. Tau, same thing. Ondo is connected to ETH, but they're moving away from ETH. So a lot of my portfolio is actually not exposed to the Ethereum trade. So I'm underweight ETH right now. Yeah, M2 money supply chart is looking good. But people do overly emphasize on M2. You also got to look at M1, guys. You got to look at the M1 supply as well, because M2 is the global money supply that's largely derived from China. Now, China currently have cryptocurrency banned, so they're not the biggest market movers when it comes to crypto. The US, however, which is the M1 money supply, I believe, you know, that's the one you really want to be focusing on is US liquidity. US liquidity topped out around 2022. But it is starting to creep back up, which is good. And the Fed look like they might be ending QT pretty soon. If they end QT, then that's going to be really positive for risk on assets. So I'm constantly analyzing all these different things, guys. I'm constantly looking at them every single day. You know, 10 to 16 hours a day, I'm looking at all these different indicators. So you can see the Fed balance sheet currently is still going down, but it's like sloping. It's kind of coming to an end, the QT. What we need is for it to start going up again, kind of like what happened during COVID. That's what we need for crypto, but in all honesty, it's really, really bad for the world for this money printing nonsense to continue. It's really, really bad for the world. Especially like the working class, because they're not asset rich. So their wages don't keep up. Their wages don't keep up with the rate of money printing and inflation. So it's really bad. You know, it's great for the rich because they're asset rich. You know, they just keep debasing the currency and their assets like gold keep going up and their real estate. But, you know, if you're not asset rich and you live in paycheck to paycheck, this type of shit is terrible. So it's maybe good for assets, but bad for the world in general. You know, it's a net negative, this type of ridiculous debt and money printing. And it will probably never end, to be honest. Yeah, man, the VIPs are up massive on Fartcoin. Yeah, HBAR and XRP, they probably will have a pump. This cycle has been dominated by centralized coins for the most part, besides Bitcoin. If this was a decentralized cycle, Casper would be at like $1 right now, right? But it's not. The centralized coins, the coins that are backed by governments and backed by big tech and backed by all these freaking BlackRocks and all of this, they've been the ones doing well. That's just a harsh reality that people need to get to terms with. You know, you just got to get to grips with the reality and not be in a state of delusion. I don't like the fact that that's the case. I wish XRP went to zero. I hate the coin, but I'm not in a delusional bubble. I know that these things are here to stay, and that's just the reality of crypto. You can either face the reality and adapt and invest in coins which are going to make you money, or you can stay in a bubble. I kind of don't wish XRP. I kind of don't want XRP to go to zero because that would be a black swan for crypto. But you know what I mean. Like, I don't like the centralization. That's all I'm saying. I don't like the fact that it's going to be the thing that facilitates CBDCs and all of that. I don't like any of that. But at the same time, if it went to zero, it would probably crash the entire crypto space with it. So I hope it doesn't, in a way. Yeah, 70 cents for Casper looks very, very, very possible. A lot of the gaming coins look like they have bottomed out. I would not be surprised to see gaming take off later this year. I agree. You got GTA 6 coming out. Gaming coins have been slept on for a long ass time. Eventually, they're going to pump. So, as for gaming, there's a few gaming picks I like. If you want a blue chip, I would go with Beam. If you want a blue chip, that looks pretty bottomed out. I also like Nakamoto Games. Got into this one at a 2 million market cap. It's currently sat at 34 million. So made some nice gains on that already this cycle, and the VIPs did as well. So strongly recommend hitting that link in the description and signing up. Mavia is another one. Kind of scammy the way it moves. Like, it freaking pumps 10x and then just dumps. So be very careful with it. Don't put a load of money in. But Mavia. Guns is another one. Gunzilla Games. I mean, this was super highly anticipated, and it's only at a 40 million market cap, so could do pretty well. I checked the unlocks as well. I don't think they're as bad as what people thought. The next unlock, I think, is that in September 2025, so it's a while away, if that's true. So not too bad in terms of short-term unlocks. Obviously, in the long run, they're bad, with the FDV being 588 million. But we don't need to worry about what happens in 2026. We'll be well out by then. But yeah, Gunzilla, pretty decent gaming project there. This would be another one I would strongly consider. Off the grid. It's on PS5, Xbox. Yeah, Bren, well said, man. People should definitely get on the lifetime VIP before the price hike. I will be hiking the prices for that very, very shortly. Next few days. So take advantage of the crazy discounts. You know, lifetime and yearly are both going to be heading up pretty soon. I'll be removing the 20% discount. Save 20. I'll be removing that. And I think if you actually click on the link in the description and pinned in the comments section, if you click that, hover over the screen for like 20 seconds or something, you should see like a pop-up discount come up. Now, I meant to take that off. I still haven't taken it off, so it could be any time now that I take it off. But that should be available for any of the membership options here. I think VIP. Every review I've ever had is 5 stars. You can go and read some of them for yourself. It's a true community. This isn't like a dictatorship group where whatever I say always goes and no one can say what they want. This is a true network, okay? It's a collective unit of like-minded people. So definitely get yourselves in the group to give yourself the competitive edge for the bull run. And yeah, after the live stream, I'll be heading into the group for a voice chat, for a group call. So if you're listening, straight after the call, straight after the stream, get yourselves in the voice chat. Okay, I'm gonna be there. We're talking to you guys about the markets. I'm interested in what you guys have to say about Bitcoin being above 91K, 91.2K on this live stream. Great progress on Bitcoin since the double bottom at 74K. Could you have guessed 74K? It's almost like a certain YouTuber told you about that level multiple times. It's almost like someone was saying 74K had massive significance. Gaussian channel, March highs. It wasn't random that was where the double bottom was, right? So we predict these moves way in advance. We're not always right, obviously. Got to humble ourselves sometimes, take a loss every now and then. But I would say 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, we're pretty spot on with our predictions and our assessments. And that is a very good win rate, considering most people are wrong more than they're right in crypto. Let's just look at the world debt clock. Just look at the world debt clock. It's crazy. 36 trillion national debt. Man, these people running these countries are so dumb. They can't even keep themselves out of debt. I mean, and people trust the government and listen to what they have to say about things. It's crazy. Yeah, gaming has good risk to reward. It does. Right now, anyway, it does. Maybe not when it all pumps, but currently there's some crazy discounts on gaming. And it does kind of have solid fundamentals when you think about it. Like, everything in the world's going to be tokenized eventually. We're going to live in an entertainment attention economy. It makes sense that games would be tokenized and they'd have their own tokens. With an in-game currency. How's TRX worth investing in? If you really only care about like a 2 to 3x, then yeah. If you're trying to make more than that, I would just buy Sui. Tron's probably got like a 2 to 3x left in it this cycle. It's a very solid coin. Like it's not too volatile. It moves very steadily. So it's a solid coin, but I just don't get why you would buy Tron when there's Sui, when there's Casper, when there's Tau. You know, there's other good projects that aren't too risky that I would just prefer. But if you really like Tron, by all means, get a bag. Yeah, so I currently have about 10 to 15%, around 10% of my net worth in cash as of right now. Now, I don't intend to deploy all of that into crypto, okay? I was at one point 20% cash. I was deploying into the stock market on some crazy dips, and I was deploying into crypto. Now I've still got 10% left over. I intend to deploy 5% of that this year into crypto, and then I'm done. And I intend to deploy that when we get a weekly close above 91K on Bitcoin and a weekly close above the March highs on Total 3. Now, which coins will I be buying? You'll have to wait and see in the VIP group. I'm not going to be announcing that publicly, but I'm already giving you a lot, right? I'm telling you when I'm buying. So I'm buying the rest when we get a confirmed breakout, which for me would be a close on the Total 3 above the March highs and a close on Bitcoin above 91K. Maybe 94, but 91 is like the main level. A close above 91 and a close above the March highs on the Total 3 would tempt me to start buying altcoins for one last time, pretty much. I mean, one last buying spree. And then it's going to be time to think about taking profits in a few months. So we've got that to look forward to, which, I can help with in the group. Exit strategy. I put a video out yesterday, I think, on exit strategy, but we go way, way, way more into depth in the Discord on exit strategy. So yeah, it's going to be exciting times coming forward in the next few months. I'm ready. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very ready for it. Ready to go. Yeah, I know, man. I'm trolling. I'm not going to look at the debt meter all day. I'm trolling about that. But it's just funny looking at it, right? It's just funny. The fact that someone's put all of this onto a website and you can track every country's debt, it just shows the state of the world. Yeah, I think AI agents will come back. That narrative hasn't died. At the end of the day, these narratives of technology and stocks and all of this, they trickle into crypto. AI agents are getting talked about in the mainstream, in the technological sphere. It's going to trickle into crypto eventually. It will find its way to permeate crypto, and it already has. So what are the 7 coins? The 7 coins are listed here, but these are 6. So these are my top 6, and then the 7th coin I would be buying would be Aerodrome. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I appreciate you all joining. Get yourselves in the VIP group. We're going to be having a great conversation very shortly about the markets. Is this the breakout that we needed to bring Bitcoin to new all-time highs? What are the best altcoins to be buying right now? Should you even be buying right now? We're going to discuss all of that in the VIP straight after this stream. Get yourselves in the voice chat. And if you're not already signed up, get yourself signed up. Links in the description. Prices will be going up very soon. There's a discount available on the site. And if you don't see the discount pop up, then you can just use the code SAVE20 at checkout. SAVE20. 20% will be saved. So appreciate you guys watching. Crypto payments are accepted if it's for yearly or longer. Otherwise, you can sign up on the site using the code SAVE20. I'm a fan of virtuals. I think it's going to make a comeback. I was stacking some virtuals in the dump, and I'm already up like 20%. So I think it'll do well. Yeah, I think Casper can make a new all-time high. I do. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the call. Looking forward to it. Bren's going to be there. We're going to have the whole crew. So get yourselves ready. Get yourselves in the call. Grab a drink. Grab some snacks or whatever and get in the call, guys. Appreciate you. Goodbye.